All right, everyone. What's up? What's up? We are live. We are live. We're just jumping right into the stream because we have a spy stream to get to. Just making sure things are actually working over on Rumble. They should be. They weren't working earlier today. It was very, very weird. It looks like I might be having the same trouble with Rumble again. So let me just remove Rumble and then we'll save that change and then we will start with Rumble again. There we go. There we go. Hopefully that works this time. All right, guys, tonight we're going to be watching a spy stream. We are going to be doing a rare public spy stream because we are watching a stream on Haymarket Books' YouTube channel. And this stream is all about the Starbucks workers' strike, which has been predominantly perpetrated by the Democratic Socialists of America, working in conjunction with the labor union for Starbucks, which is called Starbucks Workers United. And you can see they do have an open chat. Now we're going to close the chat, but I'm just going to keep an eye on the chat in maybe another window, because the reason we're going to close the chat is sometimes when these people have open chats, they're scoundrels who go over into the chat and they're just trying to get my attention with things. And so if I'm showing them on the screen, that provides positive enforcement for them to fuck around. It looks like they're starting a few minutes late. We got 8 minutes to go. Hey, listen, so we got a little extra time here. Yo, that fucking documentary that Tyler Oliveira did, that was crazy. That was I know we didn't get to do a debrief because I wanted to get this stream up and running very, very quickly. Is Rumble working yet? Is Rumble still not fucking working? No, Rumble is working now. Cool. I know I didn't get to do much of a debrief, but like, holy shit, I can definitely understand why people may have been pissed off with Tyler, because he is not showing them in the most flattering of lights, is he? But that doesn't mean it's not true, man. And I got to be honest with you, for the amount that I've heard people complaining about leftists not having jobs, doing all that stuff, it is rather shocking to me that we are all apparently supporting the Jewish community in those specific areas. I'm not saying all Jews. We would never say that. No anti-Semitism allowed. But like, what I will say is it's rather shocking to me that we're kind of supporting them all with our taxpayer money, and they don't have jobs, and they don't speak English, and they cause a lot of car accidents. Oh, am I behind in this? Are they live? I might be behind. I am behind. Look at that. Than 3 minutes here. Again, guys, this is a live training. This is actually happening live. So I do not want people going over there. I want to make this very clear. I do not want people going over to this stream and causing problems in their chat. If I see people from my chat causing problems in their chat, I do have their chat on my screen. You just don't see it on the video, but I do actually have it up. If I see you guys going over and causing problems in their chat and being disruptive, I will permanently ban you in my chat, and I am not fucking around about this. We do not disrupt leftist trainings. We do not do that shit. It is not productive. It makes us look bad. It takes away our high road. We want to be able to create an environment where if they're actually doing something live, we want to be able to ask them really like thoughtful questions that relate back to what they're doing so that we can get them to say the quiet part out loud. So I want to see no fucking retardation. I want to see no disruption. I want to see no nonsense. Stay over here. You can say whatever the fuck you want over here. I don't really care, but do not go over there to cause problems, because you make us all look bad, and I disavow all of that. And if I see you causing problems in their chat, I will permanently ban you in my chat, because you are disrespecting my very specific wishes that we do not cause problems over there. It never leads to anything productive. It is not a good use of our energy. What we are doing when we are listening to far left trainings is we are listening to them to understand what these people believe and what is coming next. I want to remind people that I usually don't talk over the training. This is a YouTube recorded training, so it will probably be a little bit different. I don't mind talking over this so much, but what I also do is I will chat in and I will display my comments on the screen so that we can get my commentary along with being able to listen to what they are actually saying without me talking over them. Because this is a live training, I don't pause, I don't go back. We are just watching the training as it happens. We are a fly on the wall. This is where the leftists say the quiet part out loud. This is on a socialist YouTube channel. This is only for leftists, okay? They are not making this content for us, and they're probably really pissed off that I'm going to be watching them, especially publicly. Go fuck yourselves. And so they're probably good and pissed off about this. We might even see an appearance in the chat from Stacy the tranny commie who tries to disrupt all of this. But just remember, we're watching a live stream on YouTube right now, and so there really isn't shit they can do about it. Live streams on YouTube are public information. It is what it is. Cry harder, Stacy. You can't stop me from watching a public stream on YouTube. And we are watching it to learn what the left is doing, learn what they believe, learn how they're organizing, learn what's going on. That is why we are doing this. We do not disrupt them. We do not insult them. We do not cause problems in their chat. We do not do any of that stuff because that defeats the purpose of what we're doing. One in the chat if you agree to the parameters that I'm setting down. Two in the chat if you don't agree and I should just permanently ban you right now. One in the chat if you agree to the parameters that I've just laid down. This is just an intro. This is not the presentation. Two in the chat if you just want me to permanently ban you right now. Yeah. All right. They're getting started, guys. This is their intro video. Please make sure you mount the like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And if you want to make sure you join us for future spy streams, please make sure you're a member either on my YouTube channel or my Substack or Locals or Patreon or Twitter subscriber. Most spy streams are supporter exclusive. This is a rare public spy stream as a thank you for all the support you guys have given me all week long. It's been really amazing. You guys have been super generous. And so if this is your first spy stream, welcome. We are about to listen to the left live so we can hear what they're going to say and sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is what real socialists are doing in the real world, guys. You are about to watch something that very few non-leftists and non-communists actually take the time to watch. This is still just an advertisement, but we'll tune in.
Now more than ever, it is critical to support independent publishers,
Socialist,
independent bookstores, and independent voices.
By independent, they mean socialist. This is a socialist book publisher.
First, by buying books from Haymarket at haymarketbooks.org. And secondly, by joining the Haymarket Book Club.
Yo! W. Chabelle, thank you, bro. You rock.
The following event will be recorded and shared afterwards on the Haymarket Books YouTube channel.
Hey guys, anytime someone gifts channel memberships out to the community, please give them a W in the chat. They're inviting more people into our supporter exclusive spy streams. I really do appreciate it. Channel memberships are the best way to support the community. That is just awesome. I love the spreading of the wealth. So I appreciate you doing that, Chevelle, and starting us off strong.
You can register for these upcoming events on the Haymarket Books Eventbrite page. If you miss an event, you can listen to the recording afterward by subscribing to our podcast, Haymarket Live, wherever you get your podcasts. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. We are moderating the chat, but we cannot guarantee that everyone will observe our community guidelines. People who violate these guidelines will have their comments deleted as quickly as we are able.
Uh-oh, no violating the guidelines.
This event will have live closed captions. Instructions for accessing the captions will be posted in the chat. We should have time for Q&A.
Oh!
So please post your questions in the YouTube chat window, and we'll get to those later in the program. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank
Our
you,
event will
Haymarket
begin
Book.
shortly.
Here we go. Come on, start the presentation, assholes. Weren't even ready to go. The socialists were not ready. There's no one even watching on their side, by the way. That's actually kind of funny. There's no one even watching on their YouTube page. Like, all their audience is over here. That's fine. I don't mind giving them an audience for what they have to say. We are waiting, communists. Tell us your plans. Yeah, we got almost 300 people here. They have 15 on their channel. 13. I'm sorry, 13. They've got 13 people watching on their channel, and I'm 2 of them. We're waiting, communists. Yeah, everyone over there. They're like, if we, Haymarket, I just want you to know that if we wanted to colonize your chat, we totally could. Like, your chat is not being colonized right now because of my discretion. You understand that, right? If I wanted to send a whole bunch of people over to your chat to say, whose chat, our chat, whose chat, our chat, whose chat, our chat, I could do that. I'm not going to do that because no one is going to disrespect my wishes and go over there and cause problems. But I just want to let you know, Haymarket, that if I wanted to own your fucking chat right now, I absolutely 100% could, and it wouldn't even be that hard. So we're waiting, communists. Start your fucking stream. They're live. They're just not going for some reason. I can't imagine why they don't want us to see it. We are waiting. They've got 14 people on their side now. This is fucking awesome. Actually, I love having this sort of power. I love this. I love this. Will we colonize their chat just because we can? Won't we colonize their chat? I don't even know. They're making us wait, and I'm an Aries. I'm good and impatient. When the fuck is the spy stream starting, communists? We're waiting for you guys. This is really very inconsiderate, is what this is. You already did the whole introduction of the video. You guys weren't even ready to go. Oh, what? Why is it spinning? What's happening? No, still live. Still live. What's going on, Haymarket? We're waiting. It's live. They're just not doing anything. Oh, it's spinning. Oh, again. Yeah, keeping the fascists waiting. How fucking rude. How rude and inconsiderate of our time, Haymarket. Where have we been waiting all day for this? Where the fuck are you guys? No one forced you to play your intro when you weren't ready. No one forced you to start the stream. This is usually how it goes, to be honest. There's almost always socialist technical difficulties. Socialists suck at technology. They usually suck at audio, but right now they're apparently sucking at everything. Yeah, Stacy has sabotaged the stream. It's over. They figured out we were watching them and that we were going to have a bigger audience than they had, and it's over. It's over. Oh, someone's commenting in. That's not one of mine, though. It might be because they're at Haymarket House and they're delaying. Maybe. Commies keeping us waiting. Just very rude, very inconsiderate. Listen, I know that time is a concept of white supremacy or some such bullshit, but taking time out of our Friday night to listen to what the communists have to say, and they aren't even going live on the internet. We were promised a Starbucks presentation, Haymarket Books. Yeah, the communists they're basically oppressing us. Right now, the communists are basically oppressing us, okay? They're oppressing us, and they're oppressing us with their white supremacy of being late and not knowing how the internet works. No, because they already started the stream. The stream is live. This is live. Look at this. This is live. It's just that they're not doing anything. This is on their YouTube channel right now. As a reminder, don't go over there and be disruptive in their chat. That's what they want us to do. They'll use it against us. Yeah, commie internet connection? Probably. When's the presentation going to start? Did we already get them to preemptively cancel the presentation? I mean, it is always a victory for us. Listen, if we get communists to cancel a presentation because they're pissed off that we're watching them, like, that's a win. That's a W for us. This is a public presentation. We're allowed to watch it. It's in public. So if they want to cancel it because they know that we're watching them, that's a W. I'll take it. I can go do something else on my Friday evening. I don't have to watch socialists talk about Starbucks on the internet, but we're going to wait here. We're going to find out what the fuck's going on. Yeah. It'd be pretty great if I got them to cancel this, actually. That would be like, what, 2 presentations in a row they've canceled because of me? What are you so afraid of? I've been listening to Starbucks Workers United presentations for months. Just so you guys know at Haymarket Books, I already probably know everything that you're going to say because I've been listening to your Zoom calls for months talking with these people. So I already know what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. So you're not actually going to obfuscate information. I already have you on video. Haymarket Books just chatted in. While we wait for the speakers to start, maybe folks could share how they found out about this event. So we're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. I feel like we're being very patient. No one disrupt their chat. I'm paying attention even if it looks like I'm not. Never doubt it. If we disrupt their chat, they win. If we don't disrupt their chat, we win. Oh,
You can't see it on my phone now.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to Haymarket House.
Charles, no,
thank you all for
come
coming.
on, don't do that.
This is a bit of a kickoff event for this new project that Haymarket just launched called Heat the Ground Up, an oral history of Starbucks Workers United. We tell the story of the Union Drive through 3 different stores.
Hey, Charles, I told you not to go over and disrupt their chat, and I meant it. And look what happened. You said something about me in their chat, and they literally banned you in 5 seconds. So that's why we don't do that shit. No one go over to their chat to cause problems, okay? I really do mean that. I don't want to see that.
And I think we'll get started with some intros from our guests. Miles, do you want to kick us off? And
Sure. Thank you, Clarissa. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This lovely event. And
Haymarket is in Chicago.
It's an amazing campaign that has been really a jolt into the labor movement, which in the United States has been not the most active for a long time. And now we're seeing really green shoots come up through campaigns all across the country at retail stores like Starbucks and Amazon and other big chains. My name is Miles Camp-Lassen. I am the senior editor at In These Times magazine. We're a left-wing political magazine, been around since
Socialist.
the 70s, and we cover left-wing electoral politics, social movement fights, and big focus on labor unions. So we had a issue that came out a few years ago on the Starbucks union. There's some issues over there if you want to grab one. It specifically focuses on the story of the Memphis 7, a group that was fired in Memphis for organizing. And it's a really a great encapsulation of the lengths that the Starbucks management would go to try to bust the union and use really despicable tactics, and how workers have faced down that level of union busting and fought back and kept fighting for a union in their store. So definitely read that, and I'm excited to talk to strike captains here about their role, their experience, and how we can keep this moving.
Nice. Yeah, strike captain. Diego, do you want to?
Yeah. Name's Diego Franco. He, him pronouns.
He, him.
Bargaining delegate, strike captain from a store out in Des Plaines on Oakton and Lee Street. Been a part of the campaign for about 2 years. Like I said, strike captain, media person. I like causing trouble for the company, and I keep getting away with it.
Take it away.
Howdy, I'm Rowan Ravine, they, them pronouns. I work at Dempster and Dodge in Evanston.
Trini.
I'm pretty
Queer.
new to Starbucks. I just started in June 2025. I wasn't originally elected a strike captain. I stepped up to fill the shoes of one of our former strike captains who left to go study abroad. So it's been really interesting experience.
That's great. That's great. And hey, I'm Clarissa Redwine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the host of Keep the Ground Up, the podcast. Yeah, okay. So I think to get us started, can you tell us how you found yourselves in the role of strike captain? Like, how did that happen?
For me, I was the primary organizer for my store. I was one of the few people from when we first organized, first went out on strike, who still work at my location. We experienced a lot of turnover. Just having the experience and kind of already building that muscle, that backbone to first lead my coworkers last year. It only made sense again to just do it again this year.
Yeah, like I said, I was not elected a strike captain. Our store had 2 strike captains when the strike started. They were instrumental in getting our store to go out. When they both ended up leaving, we needed new strike captains. I was already doing a lot of the work, and so I said, sure, why not?
Nice. And y'all had you organized before?
When I came to our store, it was already a union store that did have experience with strikes. This is my first union in general, as well as first strike. So it's been, like I said, really cool, really interesting.
Amazing. Yeah. Diego, I forget, have you organized before?
No, this organizing my store was like the first step of any organizing work I've done. Besides that, the only other organizing I did was my closet. So a bit of a jump, but like nonetheless, I'm here now. So
Amazing.
Great. Yeah. I mean, maybe a little bit of context. I mean, a lot of folks in this room probably, know what's been going on, but to just set us in time a little bit, it was last November, right, that the strike kicked off, and it was the longest strike in Starbucks history. And this came on the heels of what was seen for a brief moment as some hope that the Starbucks management was going to sit down, finally negotiate a contract.
I lost 35 pounds in the last 3 months. Don't fucking undercut me.
COVID pandemic, and then by 2024, management seemed to be offering some openings to sit down and start bargaining in good faith. And there were series of tentative agreements, right, that were reached, I think 30 or so nationally with management. And then once the economic proposals came, it seemed like things really changed. I mean, you both, I'm sure, know better than anyone, but the tone of management changed, the repression changed, these listening sessions and captive audience meetings really kind of stepped up.
Keto and
this
intermittent
kind of
fasting.
helped lead to what happened at the end of last year of the strike and walk off. But that's kind of just broad strokes from my understanding. I'd love to hear from both of you two what led to this strike authorization vote. Like, what did it feel like in the store with your coworkers talking about leading up to it?
I was at the bargaining sessions prior to us going out on strike last year, and having seen kind of the radio silence from the company over the majority of 2025, outside of yeah, we want to finish it, and then nothing else. They wouldn't provide anything past that. The holidays are a busy time for the company. They're a busy time for all of us. And you're not ready to settle our contract. What sense does it make to continue on? Like nothing, like people aren't fighting for their lives out here. So it made the most sense.
People are fighting for their lives by
organized
striking at
strike authorization
Starbucks.
vote. It lined
Being
up
a
with the
barista is
Red
literally
Day,
killing them.
biggest sales day in the company per like every year. So it hits them where it hurts.
And did your entire store walk out?
Yeah, my store walked out, stayed shut down. So
Yeah, I mean, at our store, my store was really union, like pro-union before I even got there. But we were all, I mean, at least I was really fed up by the time the strike authorization vote rolled around. I was actually in the process of looking for a new job when I found out that we were going to go on strike. And that made me go, okay, we'll take a step back from that. This sounds like something that I can
What is Rachel
like,
Wilson doing?
put my time and energy into and feel like I'm actually making a difference.
And what were there specific like demands in either of your stores about the things that you guys wanted to win that management was not budging on, whether it was, you know, raises or economic things?
No,
or
Rachel Wilson
safety
can literally
concerns?
go
Like, what
fuck
were kind of
herself.
like some of the demands that you guys were talking about during that time?
The core issue at my store came down to hours and scheduling.
Yep.
We had experienced high turnover to the rate where we had maybe 7 people at my store by the end of the summer prior to us going out on strike. You know, we're stores running on limited hours, and even during the smaller block of time we were actually open,
Because
people were
Rachel
on the
Wilson
clock.
is an evil cunt.
At most, I might have seen
Like
5 people
evil
on the building
cunt.
behind the line.
Evil
And
cunt.
my store got busy. We're in between 2 different shopping centers, bunch of schools in the area. There's the Secretary of State office right across the street. A lot of people show up in that area. You need people here to keep it running. That became the core issue for not just the people who have stuck around, but also a bunch of the new hires we have gotten. They were coming in with the expectation they were going to get a lot of hours because we had so few people, and that wasn't the case for them. So many of them were still struggling to get hours on top of that. And that just became the driving focus on
Yeah,
the
and Andrew
conversations I
Wilson
would
is a
have with
massive
coworkers,
pussy.
and that's what led to a
True.
majority voting yes.
But we're paying attention to
Do
this
you
now.
get Alexei Janulius in the shop ever?
They shut down their chat, real?
His people probably,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what he looks
They
like.
shut down the chat!
He could have shown up.
Shut it down!
They say he's a good looking man. His reputation.
Whatever.
Politics, I don't know. Yeah, and also, I mean, it's talking about hours. I mean, that's a real big issue, right? Because this is a tactic that Starbucks management uses to keep.
We just
employees
wanted, I
below
told
a
people
certain
not to
level,
go
and
over to
where
their
they would have
chat.
to offer some certain benefits.
That's
And
why.
that kind of collides often with busyness,
Mhm.
right? If I'm not mistaken, to have
Yeah,
these
whose
kind of
chat? Our chat.
with
Whose chat?
with the labor
Our
force,
chat.
so that you have to kind of overwork in order to make up for the fact that people aren't scheduled long enough so that they don't have to pay for healthcare or other kind of benefits.
The managers are incentivized to cut back on hours because then they get bonuses when they get to save on labor at different locations. The AI scheduling tools are kind of meant to cut back on labor wherever they can. And then it's also just been common practice, even without
Nope,
stores
they weren't.
being organized as part of our union, where tenured employees will start seeing their hours cut while they are making use of the healthcare, while they're making use of the college plan, that now they're being cut from their hours. They don't meet the requirements to make those benefits, and now required to pay back money that they were otherwise wouldn't have to pay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it sounds like there were clear issues that y'all were fighting for that the company was not going to move forward with in negotiation. But how did you have conversations with your coworkers in the store that helped them move through the fear of going and doing something they had never done before? I think most people have never gone on strike. Like, how did you talk to them and work through that fear and get them prepared to go on strike?
yeah, for me, the first conversations I've had about the strike wasn't the end all be all. It was simply planting the seeds in their mind of what was possible for them. It was often a conversation we'd have about, like, hey, this is what people are talking about. This is what we're planning on doing. They would take in the information and say, okay, wow, go back to work and see how few people we have, how busy it is, how messy it gets, and realize this is happening every day we're here. And then the realization clicks that we have an opportunity to do something about it. We just have to be willing to take the risk of going out on strike. So the conversations through that fear
will come up, and they'll probably come up again next time we have to plan on going out on strike again. But it's showing them the reality of things now and understanding that can't be the reality in the future, but we would have to do something about it now.
I know for me, I was one of the people being talked to rather than doing the talking. What was really helpful for me was knowing, like, will I be able to sustain myself through this strike? Having a strike fund was really important to my store in being able to authorize this vote. I know also this is my second winter in Chicago. I'm an Ohio native, so it's not like I'm not used to the cold, but the lake effect is real. So figuring out how to survive the winter cold, especially when you're standing in one place for like 5, 6 hours at a time, took a lot of adjustment and preparation.
Yeah, I know y'all have clothing tips.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yes.
Nice. You'll have to do fit checks next time.
for sure.
Yeah. I have another question, but before I go, Miles, did you have anything you wanted to jump in with?
Well, I just think it's interesting that this is, this is really unusual in terms of like how the both, the unionization campaigns and then also the lead up to these strikes. Oftentimes, in traditional labor campaigns, it's all staff that's running these things. That's, the national union is sending in people to rev people up, to kind of give assignments and everything. And what Starbucks Workers United has really shown is a very different model of worker to worker organizing, and like playing, it so that you can actually talk to workers and understand what they're going through and identify with them. That is not often how labor campaigns operate, unfortunately. I mean, that's just the reality of how resources are used traditionally in bigger unions, and it speaks to how this campaign came about initially as a more kind of worker-led uprising, and then also how it's maintained.
Worker-led uprising
allowed it to grow. So hearing these stories, it's like it's just really interesting, because that's often, in the lead up to strikes, of course, workers are talking to each other, but it's usually very union heavy. If it's not top down, it's at least like staff heavy. And so that's a really remarkable thing that I think speaks to a new phase of organization. And you see that in other, REI had a similar type of campaign, ALU in Staten Island. So it's kind of just, it's a new phase, I think, of the labor movement.
Yeah, and everyone in your store who is experiencing what a union feels like for the first time is seeing this model of the worker-to-worker organizing. So it's very exciting. I'm wondering if you could give us all sort of an overview of the ways that you put pressure on the company to get them to, move. Like, what were you hoping would budge them? What were you doing on the ground? Yeah, and any stories you have to tell about putting pressure, yeah, go ahead.
Man, I have so many stories and like the it's at all aspects. It's organizing your coworkers. That process never stops. With pretty high turnover at Starbucks regularly, the organizing within the shop doesn't ever stop. I think in the year between our first strike and the last strike we've just had, like almost two entirely different groups of workers that I would still have to talk to, organize, work through those fears, convince them to go out on strike with me. And it's not just on a shop level, it's also in the media. I've had plenty of times in the media where I get put in articles. Infamously for the company, I got pictured in a civil disobedience action last year around a investors meeting. So pretty good picture of me, got captured. Chicago Tribune, so I love sharing it when I can. But at least for me, I think having been a part of this campaign and being a part of our union has kind of shown that, like, if you can imagine a possibility where this works out, you can find a plan to make it work. I think we've kind of seen that over the past 12 weeks we were out on strike, and in the times between, we continue to find ways to organize and to reach out and to just
continue to get up the ground. So
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about it being a ULP strike is it gives us a little more like freedom and creativity with how we approach the actual strike. On top of doing just like normal picket lines, we were able to do flying pickets. The Teamsters sanctioned our
Teamsters.
strike, and so
Teamsters,
what we
you
would
don't
do is
say.
we would have
You don't
teams
say.
of two with a.
I just want to remind everyone that the head of the Teamsters spoke in the opening night at the RNC, and everyone was like, "Oh, the Teamsters are totally on their side." No, no, no. The Teamsters are socialists, bro. The Teamsters are coordinating with the far left. Idiots.
Really incredible.
That's amazing. And what happened when you didn't know what time the trucks were coming? What did you do?
Well, we kind of just sat there and waited for them. And
The Teamsters are not
it felt a
delivering
lot
to
like a
Starbucks
stakeout in many
because of this.
places. It was a collective effort of a ton of people across the Chicagoland area. The amount of spreadsheets that we gathered is kind of ridiculous. But the coordination, because like the other thing about the routes is when you look at them driving, they don't actually make that much sense. They go between districts for some of these routes. I'm getting on a tangent, but
I think you're just showing everyone how you have to drill down to build power in a strike.
yeah, sometimes they would like reverse the order that they were delivering just to try to throw us off. Sometimes they would send out dummy trucks. They got creative too.
Just one more question about the flying pickets. I'm personally a huge fan of any creativity in a strike. I'm wondering if you have an example, a story of how effective this particular tactic was. Like, for instance, was there a store where maybe the workers didn't go out and picket, but still the store was affected?
Yeah, I helped with, I was on the like anchor picket lines more than I did flying pickets personally, but I had a few stores where like it was mostly stores in my district. We only have 2 union stores in the area, but we were able to like do these flying pickets at every store in the delivery route, and the driver respected us. He was real homey, love this guy. And it ended up being that he was just asked to go back to the distribution center without making any deliveries. And we stayed there for a few hours to make sure that like he didn't get sent back out or anything, but it was.
So just so you guys know what's going on, the protesting Starbucks workers who have been striking for months are basically pressuring their delivery drivers to not actually make deliveries to the store because they're trying to impede Starbucks from actually functioning.
Organized at the time. Very exciting.
And like, so there's a ULP strike. Starbucks has committed more labor violations than like any company in America right now in terms of like actual filings against it. And the NLRB does not seem intent on settling basically any of them right now. And so this just seems to me like an opportunity to. They've hired Littler Middleton, one of the biggest union busters in the country. They're shelling out massive amounts of money in order to evade having to actually, accept unions at their stores. And the more that they're violating, it seems like rather, because usually when that happens, that plus unions, and it effectively drives wedges in between workers. And as you mentioned, with high turnover, as people, move out of campaigns, or move out of shops, then that whittles down the bargaining units. And it doesn't seem like that's happening at all. In fact, the campaign is growing. And from the last I saw, the stats were like over 80% of shops that are going to vote yes. And that's unheard of in the labor movement, to have that kind of a win rate, especially across hundreds and hundreds of stores. So what do you think that it is that why have these labor violations seem to motivate workers more than depress them? Or
Spite,
just for you?
one.
Yeah.
It sucks to be mistreated, but like the whole point of a union is the strength in numbers, knowing that everyone in this union has my back and is willing to fight for me too, makes me so much more eager to fight for them too.
I think a lot of it is the fact that we're customer facing workers. A lot of the disrespect and a lot of the stuff we got to put up with just happens out on the floor. As customers, as people who don't work behind the line, you might not see it, you might not recognize it, but it is quite happening as you wait on your drinks for the 10, 15 minutes that you show up during peak. You have people whose breaks have been withheld because management isn't going to let them go on their breaks when it's busy, given that it's their time for a
Oh
break.
no, you can't take a break when it's busy?
This
Oh
happened to
no,
me
you have to
today.
wait 15 fucking minutes? Oh
So
no. The Starbucks workers are so
you will
put
have
upon, guys.
managers who feel so comfortable getting in your face about who knows what. It could be a couple of scribbles on a cup that don't look right. It could be the way you're making your beverages they don't like. It could be the fact you're not
You're
talking
making
and
the
looking
drinks
at every single
wrong.
person as you have a queue building up.
Wow.
They will find reasons to pick on their workers, and people get fed up with it.
This guy should
They
be fired
think
from his job, obviously.
ultimately they should just leave. And
Yup,
that's always a
you
choice
should.
for
Go get
people.
another job.
They're like, well, it's Starbucks. I can find a job elsewhere.
Yeah,
But that isn't always the case. So you're
it
struggling
is
to find a job
actually.
elsewhere. What else can you do if not organize the shop that you work at the very least? So
Yeah.
So they organize a union to go on strike because they're pissed off that their boss is making them make the drinks correctly and actually serve customers. Just like, God damn.
And you have all the solidarity that you've built up throughout the strike that's there with you on the shop floor. And I'm wondering if you could tell a story about maybe some retaliation you may be facing and how you guys came together, had strength in numbers to support each other through that.
last year, over the summer, the company invited all of their managers to a retreat in Vegas. During that time, one of my friends, shift manager, had a small, like he was like some small niche micro celebrity on TikTok, would post videos about Starbucks. Didn't become a problem
I'm
until
a
he
small
had
niche
posted a
micro
video
celebrity.
of day that we had walked out and gone on strike. When it was about new drinks or food that he was trying out, wasn't a problem. We went out on strike. He posted a video. There might have been a couple of cuts where I'm wearing a union button in the video. That started to become a problem. Investigation opened. They waited for all the managers to come back from their vacation, and then they fired him. They let him go. As soon as we saw the reality of things, everyone else who was there was pretty pissed off. We all walked off like right afterwards, left our managers to deal with having to clean up and do all that. We were telling regulars that they were showing up like, hey, so-and-so just got fired. They just walked out too. Some lady
Exactly, Maria.
literally threw herself on the
Exactly.
ground.
Thank
Just
you.
got rid of her coffee there.
Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's, I think it's important to
Hey, thanks,
exercise
Chevelle.
the right that we
Appreciate it.
have as a collective, in many other circumstances, my coworkers could have got
Exactly.
fired
Just get
and we
another
would have
fucking
just gone
job.
on with their day. Like that didn't just happen. No, it's the fact that we've been organized for as long as we were. We felt comfortable being like, hey, you know what? That's not fair to us. We're going to walk off the job because you just fired. That's exactly what we did.
Yeah, amazing. So good.
Yeah.
And this, you mentioned that retreat. This was like a multi-million-dollar fest at the Sphere
Thank
in
you.
Vegas,
Yeah.
right? Where they had all these like big performers and they like spared no expense. This is like just this lavish party for all the CEOs that's happening right at the same time that they're stalling these union negotiations, right? So that must have had some kind of an impact
Yeah,
on
of
how
course.
feeling in the store.
You know, how are you going to tell us we don't deserve to make more, but then fly out all these managers who have a lot of skeletons in their closet because they deserve a week off?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, not to go too much into this management summit, but if you look at social media at the tags, it is very interesting to see the social conditioning of dividing the working class. All these managers are just a teeny tiny notch above,
but it's a nice thought.
you know, all the baristas.
Thank you.
But they were wined and dined and schmoozed, and then they all went back to the stores right before y'all got ready for a strike. So they were ready to, punch down. Yeah. Right. I think we, in a few minutes, we're going to do Q&A. So if you have any questions for our
I
strike
wish we
captains,
could
start
ask
thinking of them
questions,
now.
but they turned off the chat.
But I'm wondering if y'all could share some of the stories that you have or the learnings that you have from how the community of Chicago came out and supported you through this really difficult fight of, pulling off such a long strike.
I mean, like on the first day that we went out, we had one regular give us $75 and tell us to buy ourselves some lunch. We had another regular order 5 pizzas to the picket line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, they're training the general public to support them during a prolonged strike. This is not just about Starbucks. They're going to try to do a mass general strike on May 1st, 2026. They're training the general public to support them during a strike, to let the strike happen, to provide them with food and whatever the fuck else they need. That's what's going on here. I need people to understand that.
Was the thing for me.
I think back to the first day we went out on strike. That afternoon, we held a rally outside of your store. The energy, the amount of people who showed up, I wasn't ready for. The event felt a lot bigger than what I was anticipating. It was a lot of fun. I had to talk with so many media people. I was getting pulled in different directions the whole time. I couldn't see any of my friends at the event. I was just too dang old busy. But that felt like such a right place and a right time to kick off the strike here, with just this explosion of like energy and what felt like community and solidarity. So
we also had a ton of support from honestly all kinds of different folks. We had so many people come out to our picket lines, DSA, CTU.
DSA
I
and CTU.
know that I'm forgetting
Chicago
a bunch of groups, and
Teachers
I
Union.
apologize. But like a lot of our larger events, like the 48-hour throwdown or the 28-hour event that we did at the end of January, would not have been possible without so much support from so many members of this community.
And I think that this is just an example of kind of when you're forward facing in a customer service position like this, you develop these relationships right across the counter. And that's not always seen in, factories and other kind of workplaces. And it's interesting that, retail has been such a hard nut to crack for the labor movement for so long, when you have this kind of built-in sympathetic force that can show up and really, vote with their dollar. Obviously, they can stop going to the store, and boycotts have shown that, but they can also throw cups of coffee on the floor. So, take some more dramatic action and really show management like where they stand. And, for a company, I mean, this is kind of overbears this entire conversation, but the company is based on projecting a progressive image. And that is the way that they have tried to appeal to their customers. And when they are not only union busting, but throughout the genocide in Gaza, refusing to allow workers to wear pins, doing things to try to upend showing support for that, that's alienating their core base. And I think that one of the most savvy things that this campaign has done is really exploit that and show management, you've got to choose. And it might not be that every customer at Starbucks cares about union rights or cares about Palestinian rights, but the fact that like they're appealing to this kind of like TikTok oriented, more liberal class, and trying to show a progressive vision means there's going to be disproportionately more people that are aligned with those views. And when they see the company not respecting them, you know, they're going to come out and join the picket line or pay $75 for pizzas or something. Like that is unusual in the labor movement. I think shows the potential for this, because, you know, it started in 2021. This has only been 4 years. That seems like a long time, but union campaigns can last way longer than that before first contracts happen. And the fact that you're already talking about like the next strike, I think shows that it's, you know, there's the heels are dug in, which is a really positive thing for the future of the labor movement.
Yeah, I think now that we have like an understanding of how much work you put into the strike, you know, how much solidarity you built, how you engage the community, I'm curious if you can maybe explain the leverage that you have in the city of Chicago. Like, for instance, do you have any big stores here? Like, why would leadership drop by?
Diego, you want to take the lead on this?
No.
Okay. So downtown Chicago is home to the Roastery, which is the largest Starbucks roastery in the world.
Thank you, Wolf.
It is 4 stories, employs, I believe, over 200 people. It is a tourist trap. We picketed there a couple of times in some of our larger events, and it was kind of crazy the amount of people who showed up literally just to see it, like no intent of purchasing anything. But it is a large enough like place to go to that it's really important to the company. When we did our 48-hour throwdown, we were able to shut down the roastery for more than a day. And that got the attention of Brian Nickel. He diverted his course from, I think I heard he was going to Georgia, made his way out here. No one knew he was coming, not the roastery, not us. It was quite eventful.
Epic from the crowd. Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, I have a few more questions, but Miles, I want to make room for you. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know what you think is coming up next. I mean, I guess probably what everybody is asking, but like this was a really monumental strike and captured national attention. You know, Diego, you had a op-ed in what, USA Today, was it? Or
I think so.
One of those?
Probably.
He's been everywhere.
Too much press. All this, it's, you know, this has kind of captured attention. And so, and at a time when, you know, not all attention is under, there's a lot going on in politics and, you know, current events, what have you. So it's not like Starbucks is always front of mind for people even on the left side of the spectrum. What do you think is next? Are you guys building up towards a future labor action? Is there talk about going back to the bargaining table? Has there been any kind of like openings there, or is it more focused on just organizing more shops and kind of building?
Would be very interested in your opinion, Ben. Thanks so much for being a member of the channel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, as of right now, I think I'd say we're in a position where there's a lot of potential doors open to where the direction goes. But no matter where, it's getting back to like the grassroots organizing, the organizing more stores. If you want to build that credible like national threat, it has to start at a local level. So it's organizing more stores, organizing new coworkers, and it's always going back to the first step. And
at the end of the day, the numbers are what make us a threat to them. And so we build those numbers, we become more of a problem.
And that is why the podcast is named Keep the Ground Up. Exactly. Yeah, this was
they're
great.
launching
I think
a podcast.
the last thing that I will
Okay.
ask y'all to share before we open it up to Q&A is, how have you seen participating in the strike transform your coworkers and yourselves? Like, have you built any skills? Yeah, just could you share a little bit about that?
Skills I've built. I could shotgun a Celsius in like 5 seconds. I can stand outside in the cold Midwest winter for like 5 hours. Serious answer. It's being comfortable having uncomfortable conversations, either with complete strangers, your regulars, your coworkers. The having to be an organizer kind of forces you to shed different layers of the like the awkwardness in having conversations with people for the first time, the having a conversation about ideas bigger than yourself, bigger than your store, and
Like
how you play a part
socialism.
in it. Um, it's made me more comfortable kind of tapping into those topics and then being able to share that on the shop floor with my coworkers, along with whatever else we happen to be talking about, and just kind of seeing how everything relates back to one another.
I know for me personally, communication is something that I have always struggled with. Being a strike captain forces you to get better at communication. It was honestly really helpful for building confidence for me too. Nothing quite gets you used to people like having all sorts of opinions about you,
Don't
like
underestimate
just
them.
stating basic facts.
Listen, I think that calling them a bunch of crybabies, although I do know why you're doing that, old subsailor, you have to remember these people cannot be dismissed. They are winning. We are losing. So while they may be a bunch of babies that don't want to do their fucking jobs, like they are also winning. And so let's, keep that in mind. Do not dismiss them.
And eventually you hear enough stuff that you're like, it kind of doesn't matter what you say to me if we have an
Yeah, they're
actual
mogging us.
conversation out of
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
This is the best possible outcome. And I hope that we can like educate you and hopefully get you supporting our cause. And if you're not going to listen, then poo-poo the
They're
haters.
very successful crybabies. Yeah.
I'll add on to that. There's this really amazing story that's captured in the podcast out of an interview from Gianna Reeve, who was, if anyone saw that amazing captive audience session with Howard Schultz, there was a worker that stood up and was like, hey, sign our fair elections principles. And Gianna, after she went up to Howard and, asked him to sign, and he just walked away, she made space for other workers to say things. She was like, the workers need time in this meeting. And someone got up and was like, I don't agree with you. I don't agree. Like sort of the shop local, response. And I asked how she felt about that. And she was like, the only reason that worker had the space to disagree with me is because of the union, because we were organizing and we made that space. So even that is like progress and moving us forward. So yeah, so excited that you had those conversations, even if they were hard. Okay, any final thoughts? You wanna? Yeah.
The no contract, no coffee pledge. If you haven't filled it out, fill it out. If you have the Starbucks app, delete it right now.
No, shan't.
That's all I got.
Shan't.
Okay, I think we have time for.
Don't forget to tip your service workers. That's my other note.
Because you can get credit card tips now, right?
Yes,
That's-
yes, we
Because
can.
of the union.
Union one.
Yes.
Amazing. We have time for Q&A. Yes, first question.
My name is Peter. I'm not a Starbucks worker, but a supporter, and participated in a lot of these actions you described. And there's so many new and incredible experiences throughout the strike. Amazing shows of solidarity with the Teamsters, like you were describing. One of the things that I found most challenging personally, and I've just been reflecting on, is trying to talk with customers at not yet using Starbucks and asking, persuading, pleading with them not to buy Starbucks, right? To boycott. That's really use that language. And yeah, it definitely varies depending on the school.
Yo! W's in the chat, the
Yeah,
Feral Christian. What a great name. Thanks so much for the channel memberships, bro. You rock. It's very light, the sound, the audio. Hopefully they repeat the question.
But at first to me, like, that's not something you typically do. Have your picket line, you kind of close the location, but rarely are you at a location that's still operating. I'm curious, did you have reflections on what worked well or how you could do things differently, supporters or workers, to try to grow that? Because obviously the customers are the lifeblood of the company. Right? The workers sort of make things run, but without customers.
Yo, Wolf. W's Wolf. Thank you, bro.
I mean, there were so many people who, despite how much
Yes, I'm
publicity
okay.
this strike got, had no idea it was happening. So just the matter of simple education, also the mobile refund numbers we had at the bottom of the flyers were really helpful in a lot of cases, because there were a lot of people who were like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I won't do this again next time. And we could be like, you can still get your drink today, just call them, get your money back, best of both worlds.
Thanks, Murphy's Pool.
I find if that doesn't work, shame, I think, works a bit, especially for Robert. He's not listening in, but he knows where he is. So much.
Why do I think they're winning? Because we exist in the real world. If you really want to know why they're winning, you got to stick around the channel and watch more of their content, bro. Because if you think that they're losing, you are not watching the correct things and you're not listening to the right people. So stick around the channel and you will learn, I promise. W's Dan, thanks so much. Appreciate it, guys.
A cultural shift in the sense of, hey, I know this place violates a lot of labor laws. Why am I still shopping there? You know, and it takes time, and it's not the change you see immediately or right away, but little by little, I think the conscientiousness of people will grow, and you know, it's putting them in a position where, hey, maybe what I'm doing has some bad consequences I'm not realizing at first, and kind of making that apparent. So I would just also add that.
This is like a broader question, but the people that are like inside the organizing, why do you think Starbucks specifically, like out of retail stores, notoriously hard to organize? Why Starbucks?
I'm going to repeat the question for the people on the live stream. So yeah, before Starbucks was organized, it was considered an unorganizable shop. Why do you think you were able to get this far in the organizing effort at Starbucks?
This is important.
Times changed, you know. There's been other organizing efforts at Starbucks, started in the 80s, again in the 2000s. I think what's unique about us is we live in an era where so much of the information we have is at the, you know, is in our fingertips, is on our phones. So it's the access of information is a lot easier to get. Where we get that information, you know, it could come from random creators, it could come from like smaller productions, it could just come from your friends. It doesn't have to come from major news publications, it doesn't have to come from much established organizations that are working against our best interests. So I do think that's definitely a factor in it, that we live at a time where we're able to share this information so much more freely.
Yeah, I have more speculations than anything because I haven't been here all that long. But for one of the things Starbucks really likes to talk about is how it has a lower turnover rate than the rest of the industry. A lower turnover rate means more people who have been there for longer who understand the struggles that are happening and who are potentially willing to rise up to fight against it. My other speculation is this happening during COVID era with the rise of like Zoom meetings and stuff, because it is such a huge like international chain. The more widespread accessibility of being able to have meetings with people all across the country consistently, I think also probably made that a little easier.
Miles, did you have anything to add to that question?
Well, I think, what Diego mentioned is really interesting because this is not the first time there's been a union campaign at Starbucks, but it's the first time it's been successful, or at least able to capture the national attention and, bring in hundreds of stores across the country. Early days, it was UFCW, I think, that was trying to organize in the 80s, and then in the 2004. IWW took an effort.
The unions are
to
integral to
organize
everything.
shop by shop, and the shop by shop strategy, I think, has been really key to what's allowed this effort to grow. Because while it might be easier to have all shops in one fell swoop, getting together enough employees and to being able to evade the mass union busting tactics that the company has engaged in, not just captive audience meetings, but mass firings, really like racial discriminatory targeting, all these efforts that are meant to scare off people that want to organize. Those are easier to deal with, I think, in a closed system where you're working with 10, 20 other coworkers maybe. You can really get to know each other and build trust. And some of the early, Jazz, she was, they were assault when they went into Buffalo and had the goal of organizing.
Hey, bro, let me be real fucking clear with you. If you don't like how I'm running my YouTube channel, get the fuck out. No one wants you here. We don't allow this shit. We are trying to pay attention to what leftists are doing, and you are bitching and whining and complaining in my chat about God knows what. If you don't want to be here, get the fuck out. Am I clear?
Because you get a union first. And now, because union density is so low, the interest in unions and favorability of unions is so high, there's a whole generation that's going into these jobs that have a real, pretty crummy job market that they're going into. And they have heard about organizing campaigns. They've heard about unions. And so they're kind of ready to go. So you don't need to have a union to train assault to go into a shop to clandestinely organize anymore. People are just kind of ready to go. So I think that's what's made it effective from my perspective. And why Starbucks? I think, Starbucks is that green siren everybody knows. It's just like the most recognizable symbol of chain, restaurant, food, whatever in our country. And besides McDonald's maybe. And in that way, people can grasp onto it. And they're like, oh, wait, yeah, shouldn't they have a union? And especially here, like in Chicago, Collectivo is another chain that recently organized over the past few years, and they faced a lot of the same kind of pushback from management, not as aggressive by any means. And not every Collectivo store is organized, but the ones that have been able to get closer towards contract language. And I think that shows like people are looking to Starbucks and learning from it, and it's inspiring people who are not just service workers, but workers in all fields that are unorganized and saying, hey, if they can do it, why don't we do it? And that's, I think, one of the most...
Starbucks is a model for how to unionize in these types of organizations. This is not just about Starbucks. This is not just about little whiny leftist baristas. This is a model that they are going to use to try to unionize other organizations. And that's going to become really important, not necessarily this year, not necessarily next year, but when they try to do their May Day 2028 mass strike, it's going to become really important because they're going to be trying to unionize as many organizations as possible over the next 2 years. And they're going to use this and what these people are doing as an example that they can export into other companies and other industries. People need to understand this.
Union. It's unclear in the US how you get there for a lot of people. And one of the driving factors for early
Yeah.
organizing
W's on
was
stop, thank
people's
you.
experiences in the
Appreciate
Black
it.
Lives Matter protests in 2020. So there was all this pent up energy for changing the world, you know. But yeah, it was given a path that was very concrete, rooted in your everyday experience at work. Yeah, one
Thank
of the
you.
major reasons I
Appreciate it.
think the campaign took off. Yeah.
Yeah, the question maybe building on that, right? So many people, of course, are in unorganized workplaces, or few that are in unionized workplaces. Some of them might have very little shop floor power. Like that's sort of continuous organizing that you talk about is just like atrophy or never existence. Let's say you're talking to a worker in that kind of situation who's organizing, whether they're a barista, instructor, healthcare, whatever. What would be your advice to them?
So just to repeat the question, if you are talking to someone who wants to organize but doesn't quite know how to get there, what would be your advice to them?
I think first step is mapping out your store, figuring out who works there, what the layout is, you know, where people have their water cooler conversations, who people are close with. In my specific experience, organizing my store didn't came around until we were losing our manager at the time. For all it's worth, she would respect our schedules, respect the time off we requested, worked within our availability, did stuff that I have not seen with another manager since. But her leaving was the final straw, and we have had conversations about unionizing in the past, but combination of misinformation that we understood, combination of, you know, like brought up, not really knowing what that process looks like, made it kind of let's see where we end up. And the opportunity arose when we were in between managers, and I had the realization that this is no better time than right now to start organizing while we don't have any managers watching over our back, while we don't have like any, when we quite literally just have to rely on ourselves at the store for majority of the time that we were organizing. It made it so much easier. And but it came down to capitalizing on an opportunity that showed up. And that, you know, the opportunity only was as successful was from the smaller prior conversations we've had that at first didn't seem to lead into anything, but was really just sowing the first thoughts and the seeds of what it could look like organizing our store.
Yeah, I mean, I did not do my store's organizing. I've said this before, but I've done some training for it. So pinpoint what problems your coworkers and you are facing, what you would like to see addressed, agitate, like rile them up a little bit, because anger is powerful when directed. And then like point them on the path of unionization as, hey, this is a solution that we can work towards. We just got to get more people on board with it. That's a really basic version of it. It helps to have one-on-one conversations. It helps to have strong bonds with your coworkers before you actually like start that process. Trust is a really big thing in this. That's also one of the things that I have learned just like doing the few shop visits that I've done. It's really different being a barista talking to other baristas as opposed to like having a union rep talk to the baristas. There's that degree of separation that I think makes a lot of like people who would otherwise be more interested wary.
Nice. And there's a thread there of building trust so that you can take advantage of those heated moments or of those opportunities when they arise. Yeah. Okay, any other
I definitely also was part of this whole shebang. But I know that something that I've struggled with this is at least both with customers when striking and with partners at my store. I'm a very non-participatory store. They couldn't give less pardon my language. But it's just like I'm wondering. Well, I have gotten a lot of back.
They cut the sound. What just happened to the sound? Oh, it's back. Never mind. Maybe I did that.
Because I'm just like, I'm just drinking my coffee. Like, maybe you should try being nicer to people. Right? I would love to hear your personal experience with kind of getting that backlash of just, not even just like animosity, but just like, shouldn't make people feel bad or shame people. That's like, no, people aren't gonna listen to you if you do that. So it's just like, I would love
This
to
person's
hear-
doing an awful lot of whining.
Yeah, just to reflect that back. So what do you do when people criticize how you're expressing yourself? Like, oh, it's okay what you believe, but I don't like the way you said it, sort of thing. Yeah, how do you combat that?
I mean, my personal approach, I always start assuming good intentions so that I don't accidentally resort to like shaming first. Because it's true. If you are already planning to do something and someone starts shaming you for doing what you were going to do, often you do want to bite back a little bit out of spite. So just one, making sure that like the first approach is with the best intent. But two, also like knowing that there are going to be some people who would not listen if you did not get kind of pushy about it. There are people who will happily walk past you and ignore you. There are always going to be people who are mad about how you're saying what you're saying, no matter how you're saying it, unfortunately. It's a little different with customers than it is with coworkers. Customers have a little less impact on the actual workings of organizing. And so focusing on your relationship, I guess, with your coworkers, first and foremost, is probably helpful in that regard. Keep pushing at it in little nudges. If a large rundown is too much for them, give it to them in bite-sized pieces, just little bits that they can swallow at a time.
Yeah, I like the approach of offering the opportunity to have the conversation. Let them understand the circumstances of why we're out on strike, why we've been on this unfair labor practice strike. But the road has to go both ways. Show the respect to us. We'll respect you on the picket line. You know, if you cannot have your cake and eat it too, don't cross a picket line and then expect people not to feel riled up.
Ooh.
Come on, you see all these people chanting with signs and you're going to walk into the place that they're outside of? Come on.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Don't do that.
like,
Don't make the
Scam
leftists
shit.
mad.
you know, exactly. It's a matter of like, dude, you can quite literally go anywhere else. Why are you showing up here? You saw us from down the block. We've been here for 4 months now. Why are you still showing up?
I want to go to a striking
But
Starbucks and buy coffee now.
I wasn't going to bring up the name, but I heard it. I heard it. You know, it's, and I think after, you know, like, sure, they face a bit of shame. Don't like entirely close that door on them either. You know, I think having to move forward with the thought, whether it ends up being true or not, that like you can still reach out and you can still convince people to otherwise think differently for themselves and to have an air of understanding there is a larger struggle at play, and though I'm not actively
Struggle.
fighting in my own battle, there are other people who are doing that right now. So it's a matter of, yeah, don't cross a picket line, but also if you did it, just don't do it again in the future, and we'll be cool, and then everyone will get along, and then we'll all have what we want, and I won't have to be outside in the cold. So
One of my favorite closing lines for customers who cross the picket line was, "You can always do better tomorrow."
yeah,
I always said I'll be back to buy
Stab
more
in the
coffee.
life.
Thanks.
yeah. So,
Miles, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, just I have another question. I guess the thing that seems like it might make it hard to with customers is, from my understanding, there's like not even real rules protecting employees from how customers might react, right? I mean, that's in the store on the picket
You're
line. Who knows? So
striking.
like you're not really protected. So you kind of have to act
Bruh.
polite just to protect yourselves in a way, right?
I got sworn at many, many times at my store when it was scabbed open in front of coworkers at the speaker box, and they said nothing about it. Some of them even thanked the customers.
Mm-hmm.
like
they're not
I
kissing
don't
our ass.
directly have to deal with the nastiness of people. Partly is probably like how I present myself. I think partly it's I have a loud voice.
See a trainee?
I'll just shout over them half the time.
I really can't tell anymore.
It's you have to grow like some thick skin out on the picket line, especially with like Starbucks customers. They have bad reputations for a reason. But it's like, yeah, it's like it's not like you can go elsewhere for your coffee for a day, for a week, a few weeks. You see this. You don't see people outside are fine. Go inside the store. You don't see people picketing. Cool. But until then, like think about what people are doing out here, because we're not out there for no reason. Why would we willfully choose to be outside of a store with picket signs for no reason? Make sense to me. There's
That doesn't
always
mean
a
we have to
reason
support
behind
you,
it.
bro.
So it's
I just
the
want fucking
realization
coffee.
that
If I'm going to Starbucks,
more and
I
more
literally
people need
just want coffee.
kind of have that
I don't
point
care
of
about
view,
your
and
battle.
the only way we get people to have that point of view is by being loud and not letting them forget that people gotta make ends meet somehow. That's exactly what we're doing out here.
And I can attest to the loudness. I live near the store on Armitage, just east of Western a little bit, and DSA has been really active at that store. And so during the strike, there were some wild pickets out there.
Oh, yeah.
Some really good songs too. There was like a lot of. I mean, that's a real cool element of this strike too. Is like reinterpreting pop songs into strike chants.
HOTTOGO, union busting's got to go.
There you go.
Do we want to try it? That was a great question. I feel like it's something that if how many people in here have done some organizing on the job? Yeah. So I feel like at some point, I think all of us have had that feeling of someone saying,
"Yep,
you don't deserve what you're talking about."
Pretty much.
Be ashamed. And like the workers that I've listened to a lot of stories of workers at Starbucks, and the ones that I'm inspired by talk about how you're not just talking to that one person, you're talking to an entire capitalist system that is informing their response to you.
Oh yeah?
And
capitalist
taking the lens of, we're gonna have another strike, we're gonna have another action someday, that person will have another opportunity, but maybe give them time. But thanks for asking that. Any other questions?
Ding, ding. Uh-oh. Spinning.
Oh.
We're back.
In the back.
Come back.
And then,
there we go.
So I asked a number of social alternatives. Some were Starbucks United.
Come on.
I want to ask you guys about whether
lame
surrounding political events like the
Minneapolis general strikes and like strikes at other stores that kind of fed into your daily organizing? Because I'm in tech, not a union-friendly industry, but like the Kickstarter unions and the Minneapolis stuff and like AI has taken consciousness of the company literal zero and had people like talking about, hey, sustainability, this is fun, we should do something.
Thank
And then,
you.
like the little seeds are planted. So have you noticed like surrounding political events, plant seeds and spreading action to other stores and even your coworkers?
Just to repeat that, were there some influences, some events outside of your union drive that informed people's willingness to organize? Yeah, like the general strike in Minneapolis we just saw.
For my store specifically, prior to us going out on strike, we had ICE agents come into the building, profiling some of my coworkers, some regulars. And the question, any response from management was radio silence. During the incident and the days afterwards, when I had been cued into what had happened at work, because I wasn't there that day, to new workers who had just started working there, I had mentioned how connected we were to like Know Your Rights seminars through Starbucks Workers United, through local organizing here in Chicago, made it possible on like the smaller local level for people to be aware of what's happening, and highlighting the hypocrisy that from management has been radio silence. I think it's also a testament to kind of the kind of socially progressive image that Starbucks has
Oh
kind
yeah.
of had.
Well, thanks for dropping by.
Many stores were shut down during COVID. They were paying us for that time that we were away from work.
You missed the
There
Jews
were
earlier, Amala.
anti-racist meetings that have happened prior in the company's history. But once rise of ICE agents kind of showing up to locations, doing what they do, and it's been complete radio silence from the company, from managers, to then highlight the opportunity that they have to learn about rights that they have through the connections that were only made from our union. I think has been, especially now, really important to highlight for my coworkers, because we don't know what might happen, and we can't rely on the company. We could only rely on ourselves and our union to help us. So
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have ICE agents come into our store, but we had them patrolling the block pretty frequently when they were in Evanston. Like that was the point where I started texting some of my coworkers every day to be like, hey, did you get home safely? And like that was honestly more like a spark of connection that I had gotten with a lot of them before, which was really helpful later on when the organizing and strike did come around. I was like, okay, I think we've progressed beyond coworkers and into proper friends.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I have a question. What approaches have you found to be useful from getting coworkers between I'm pro-union and sign a card to I'm strike ready?
What approaches have you found to get workers from being pro-union to getting them to go on strike is the question.
Yeah, so how have you, sorry, how have you helped coworkers that are supportive of the union actually become ready to go out on strike?
do you want to talk about it first?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of like contingency plans because some of the things that my store was already pretty on board with the strike, but people were worried, how am I gonna get paid? What am I gonna do about my insurance? Like the actual logistics behind what going out on strike would mean and the plans that the union had. to be able to take care of those sort of things really helped to ease the nerves that a lot of my coworkers and I had about the strike. Knowing that everything was thought out in advance, and like, at least for my store, that a lot of these people had done this before, had experience with it, was incredibly helpful.
In my experience, a lot of it I had to learn as I was going through it myself. This is my first time being a part of a union, first time organizing, any workplace for that matter. What helps kind of set the ground, at least for myself and my coworkers when we first organized, was the small ask of, "Hey, can you wear a button? Hey, we're filling out a petition.
Get them
Would
to
you
do the
be
little
there when
things
we
before the
present it
big
to
things.
management?" Um, a single day walkout over unfair promotions, over unfair firings. It's a muscle that you have to exercise, and you kind of have to build that resilience, not just for yourself but for your coworkers. And I think when the kind of worker body changes due to high turnover is kind of figuring out what step in that process are we at again, because the organizing never stops within your own store. Um, and so it's finding new leadership who can now fill in those positions. It is now finding the issues that people really care about in the workplace, because that's going to change for people. That's going to change amongst groups of workers, depending on who's there, who isn't. And it's being able to kind of adapt and work off of information you get on the fly. So I think a lot of the
Yeah, real.
coordination
Mhm.
leading up to us actually going out on strike and even during strike was figured out in pretty short notices, where, and I mean, the communication was effective, which is why we've been able to pull off a lot of actions in short bursts of time. But it ultimately comes back down to that.
Lauren tried to start following me on TikTok. That's funny.
Any other questions? All right, we've learned everything we need to learn about the strike.
Cool.
All right, let's give Rowan and Diego a huge round of applause. I'm clapping for you.
Is that it?
Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. We're just gonna, mingle, hang out, and yes, I encourage you to listen to the podcast on Haymarket Originals. Yeah.
And grab a copy before you leave.
Wow! Oh, holy shit! So Haymarket Books is producing the podcast for the protesting and striking Starbucks workers. That's an interesting piece of information. I didn't even know Haymarket Books was producing podcasts, but they're producing podcasts for this. Maybe this is a new era into socialism content that Haymarket Books will be bringing us. That works out well for me. So, guys, we just watched what was a live discussion at Haymarket House. Haymarket House is in Chicago. It is the official location, like event location and like meeting spot of Haymarket Books. Haymarket Books is the largest socialist book publisher in the United States. They are the people who put on the Socialism Conference, and they actually have their own. They are so successful that they have their own event venue in Chicago. I think they actually own the building where they have stuff like that, and then they beam it onto their YouTube channel. It's important people understand this, because people think that all this is funded by George Soros. Haymarket Books brings in millions and millions and millions of dollars a year publishing far left books, pushing them out into colleges and universities, and they take all that money and they dedicate it to socialist organizing and socialist education and socialist meetings and socialist training. The publishing industry is an industry the far left uses to bring in a lot of revenue. It is not Soros funded. It is pushed into the universities and the schools and things like that. These are the books that the college students are required to buy when they take the classes in college. It is an extremely lucrative industry. And so you might say, Karlyn, that sounds like capitalism. Well, it is capitalism. They're allowed to use capitalism to try to overthrow the system because they work within capitalism, but they're using capitalism to advance their little Marxist revolution. And that is what we witnessed tonight. They are enabling the Starbucks workers strike, which we already knew, the striking Starbucks workers, which this thing has been going on for months. It's not just about baristas being whiny and complaining and stuff like that. This is about the far left getting their shit together to teach people how to strike, to improve the way that they're striking, to get more people into unions, to get more people to be open to the idea of striking. They're doing this building up to May Day 2026, which is going to be a mass general strike, probably nationwide. I know they're going to try to extend it for several days. We'll see how that goes for them. But really, this is all building up to the big one, which is going to be the mass general strike in May 2028, May 1st. That is May Day again. I think that's a Friday. But that's going to be an extended mass general strike where basically all of the unions have organized so that their contracts expire on May 1st. So they can all go on strike at the same time so that they can shut down the entire economy. So the far left is planning literally years in advance. How do we get as many people as possible striking? How do we get as many people as possible organized into unions? How do we get as many people as possible to support striking workers? Listen to how they were talking about Starbucks customers who dare cross their little picket line to go in and get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. They're like, you better not cross our picket line. Who's going to go buy coffee at a striking Starbucks now? If I happen to be anywhere and I see striking Starbucks employees, I don't even care if I want coffee. I'm going right into that fucking Starbucks and I'm spending money and I'm giving them the middle finger on the way out. They can cry all they want about it. I don't really give a fuck. I will make it a point to cross their fucking picket line and spend money at Starbucks just because. And no, I'm not deleting the app. I very rarely drink Starbucks. When I do, it's usually at the airport. But I will make a point where if I see this shit, I will cross their picket line. Anyway, guys, that is Spy Stream for tonight. It was a rare public spy stream. We did get them to shut down the chat over on their YouTube channel. So that was a victory. But hang on, I'm going to cough. But we don't have any more for tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed Spy Stream. Let me turn the chat back on. One in the chat if you enjoyed Spy Stream tonight. Two in the chat if this was a big waste of your time. Hang on, Amalek has a question. He has to take priority because he is, of course, devastatingly handsome. Karlyn, when you covered the Jew Lakewood stuff, did you point out the issue? Well, I think the issue is pretty clear. What issue did you want me to point out? I mean, I think the issue is pretty clear to me, but you let me know what you wanted me to say. Anyway, lots of ones in the chat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Glad you guys appreciated it. I will be back tomorrow. I don't know if there's any big thing going on tomorrow, honestly, that they'll be streaming. If there's stuff going on earlier in the day, I will go live earlier in the day. But I am definitely planning to be live at 6 p.m. for Socialism Saturday. And maybe even before that, we'll have to see what's happening. The GOP clapped for the Muslims and Somalians being exposed, but that one guy, I talked all about that. I covered that. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I especially like that Cam Higbee is now an anti-Semite for defending Nick Shirley, even though Cam Higbee went to Israel to kiss the ring of Bibi Netanyahu, like literally, but he defended Nick Shirley and said, Nick Shirley's not a Nazi, guys, and now Cam Higbee is also a Nazi anti-Semite, and hopefully he learns something from that little experience. I got well, you were off writing your paper or whatever the fuck you were doing. I got it under control. Okay. I got it under control. It's all good. All right, guys, that is all we have for tonight. I will see you tomorrow sometime, either for Socialism Saturday at 6 p.m. or earlier in the day. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats. I really do appreciate it all. I know I didn't read them all on screen because we were trying to listen to a live presentation, but I appreciate all the super chats. Also, thank you for all the gifted channel memberships. Appreciate all you guys. You guys allow me to do what I do. I am 100% funded by you. Can't do it without your help, and I really appreciate everyone supporting the work I'm doing. I will be back for more far left coverage tomorrow, and maybe I'll even wear my cool sunglasses tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, guys, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye. Outro video. I took the outro video down. Okay, really leaving now.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you here?
That's difficult to answer.
To give you some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.